Immigrants, I think it's all wrong because what they're coming over from their countries, they're claiming off our benefits in England, and I think it's all wrong.
It creates a lot of resentment, doesn't it? People coming in, and from what I can hear, you know, people by and large seem to be getting preferential housing treatment if they're some immigrants, and it's not in every case, but it can create hostility, yeah.
He usually slept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. 3 here and 2 down.
I won't like the place I saw him living in. It was like I won't even let a dog sleep there. I don't think any man or any womankind should let people like that live in bad accommodation.
Why did you come to the UK?
I come, like everybody, to make money.
Yeah, it's quite a dramatic change, really. We first saw the Poles come over, but now we're getting a lot of Slovaks, Czechs, Slavs. We've had the odd Romanian. So we're getting quite a few of the sort of the Eastern European countries coming over, all with the same problems.
I think there's a lot of racial tension for EU migrants, but when you work with them, you see them as people. They're just people.
No song. No song.
I'm Adam Clark, and I work for a homeless charity in Bradford called Hope Housing.
So on those grounds of being homeless, no access to money.
We work with many Central and Eastern European migrants in the city, and we want to look at their stories, to learn from them as to why they came to the UK and how life has turned out for them here.
Before UK, I came from Latvia, but originally I'm from Russia.
Okay.
W Polsce miałem rodzinę, dzieci, później...
Sebastian, which country is it that you've come from?
Poland.
Why did you decide to come to the UK?
Dlaczego zdecydowałeś się przyjechać do Anglii?
Za pracą.
No bo później miałem problemy z pracą. Po prostu firma się rozpadła i nie mogłem później dostać pracy. Tylko tak dorywczo pracowałem.
When the borders opened in 2004, many people took the opportunity to come to the UK. And of the guys that we've spoken to, many talked of poverty and hardship before they came. Some were even homeless and saw this as an opportunity to break free from this.
I think it's all East Europe, it's crisis, yeah. No, it's economic crisis, yeah. And, you know, people per month got about 180 pounds, 200 pounds. It's very good money, yeah, for 1 month, you know. And you have to pay per flat about 120 pounds, and you just got 80 pounds left for everything, you know, for food.
Po prostu namówili mnie, żeby pojechać do Anglii. Kupiłem bilet i przyjechałem. Nie wiedząc, czy będę miał pracę, czy nie będę miał pracy. Bo w Polsce po prostu było bardzo ciężko.
Pamiętam tylko, że byłem wystraszony, jak mnie wysadzili koło tego polskiego klubu tutaj w Bradford, tego starego, wiesz, gdzie zamkniętego, i nikt po mnie nie przyjeżdżał tej godziny. O Boże, no, przyjechał, no, po 2 godzinkach przyjechał.
Often people talk about coming to the UK through a friend, but this isn't a friend as you and I would think of. The story starts back in their home country where they may have been approached or seen an advert about work in the UK, and they're promised a house, a job and a better life. But what they don't realise is that the people making this offer are part of criminal gangs involved in human trafficking.
Na farmie tej Animals Farm to pracowałem po 14 godzin dziennie za 60 funtów tygodniowo. 1 week, 60 pounds. I później zrezygnowałem, bo to było za ciężkie, bo miałem już problemy z chemią.
Po prostu odeszłem od przyjaciela. Powiedziałem, że nie będę mu płacił tyle pieniędzy za mieszkanie, bo oczekiwał bardzo dużych pieniędzy ode mnie. Dług w ogóle, ten co miałem w stosunku do niego, nie spadał. No i postanowiłem, że odejdę. No i tak wyszłem na ulicę. No.
So they come to the UK and they move into a house with about 10 other EU migrants. It seems to be the same old story that's repeated and repeated, that the EU guys refer to them as gypsies, take their passports and documents, and then they work for them, but they're working for like £3 an hour and long hours. So they end up leaving, and that's how they end up onto the streets. And they're not entitled to benefits, they've got no ID, so they can't get legal work.
So, although they may have come over with great intentions and all the papers, 6 months into their trip here, they were in serious problems.
Within the first week of working for Hope Housing, one of the first things I did was come to a shop on the street and bought back the documents of a guy who'd was really desperate, and he'd sold his documents for about £20, and then they weren't able to get the documents back because it was increased to maybe £40–50, and so we as Hope Housing agreed to go and pay for these documents, even though we completely disagreed with the corruption. And so begrudgingly we went into the shop and with the guy, and went to the shopkeeper, and he pulled out a box from underneath the counter and flicked through just so many documents from people from Eastern Europe, and found the guy's documents that he'd had for several months. We gave him £40, and the guy was able to go down the same day and get in somewhere to live. When British people become homeless, they're able to access benefits and move into hostel accommodation. But for the majority of EU migrants that we meet, even those that have their documents, they're unable to access benefits because they don't meet the requirements of the system. And this means that when they lose work and become homeless, the only options they have are living on the streets or in squats. One of the guys that we know has offered to take us around some of the squats where EU migrants are living in Bradford.
When I lived in this squat, yeah, I sleep in this bed. Yeah, with my friend.
feel safe when you were living in these places?
No, really no. Yeah, because my friends, slept nighttime in squad, and came. Landlord is Pakistan, from Pakistan, and his friends, and they just with baseball bits, just hit us. About 5 people. You are unsafe when you squad.
We had to sneak inside these buildings so that we weren't seen, and we couldn't make much noise when we were inside. The smell was disgusting, and we were nervous about being discovered. Several of the squats had been burnt quite badly, and one was on fire just a few months ago, and one of the guys that we know really well nearly died from smoke inhalation.
People live in squats because they don't have anywhere else to go. And they might have some work when they come over here, but if they lose that work, they quickly become destitute if they can't afford to pay their rent. They might have to leave their accommodation. They might stay with friends if they've got some friends for a while, but you can't stay on a friend's floor forever. And then they have to go in search of something else that's cheaper. The cheapest accommodation you can get is an abandoned building, which no one is asking you to pay any rent on.
So, Valdemar, this used to be like a building, a factory, or?
Yes, this is old building factory. No window, no door, roof down, broken roof, broken, and inside rat, pigeon, and cat, and from night cold, temperature inside, same outside. I sleep from this bouldering maybe 5 months.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest challenges that they face is that nobody actually tells them when they leave Poland that the work situation really demands that they can speak a workable level of English, which many of them don't. So it severely restricts their job opportunities, severely restricts the way that they interact with the agencies that give them benefit and help. And that causes ongoing problems because if we restrict them benefits, then some of them will rob. Some of them will live a lifestyle which causes problems in the wider society. I'm not a politician, I'm just an observer of what actually happens on the streets. And I think if maybe more help was available to enable them to take their place in work, and many of them really, really do want to work, but the language is a big problem.
We've discovered that there's a rising problem of homelessness amongst people from Eastern Europe in Bradford, and do you think there should be some benefits for people that become homeless from Eastern Europe?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? They did make the choice to come over here, but on the other hand, there's a lot of people who were born in England who are homeless as well. It might necessarily be a rise in Eastern Europeans, but there's people, British nationality, are homeless.
I don't know really. I think if they come into these countries and they really are desperate, then yeah, certain rules will apply to them.
But and, bottom line is nobody forced anyone to come over here, did they? They could stay in the country of origin. I know they might have come here for better opportunities, but on the other hand, if it's not worked out, it's difficult, isn't it? But then if they've got no money for repatriation, what do they do? So it's difficult.
We work with another project who help with the repatriation, and we've seen a real increase in the number of people wanting to return home. But there's still many who don't want to go back. Some feel they will be seen as a failure, others have lost family, and some have been homeless before they came to the UK and so have little to return to. One of the guys said to me, if I'm homeless in Bradford, then I can get free food every day and help at Bradford Day Shelter. But in the rural village that I lived in Poland, I lost my family, I lost my house, and I literally had nothing.
Living in a Western country and a rich country, I believe that it's absolutely appalling that people live in such poverty when others have such wealth. Hope Housing aims to prevent anybody from sleeping out on the streets, and it does this through having a hosting project where volunteers who have got a spare room will let people stay in their home so that people don't have to sleep out on the streets.
We've had many Central and Eastern European migrants staying within this project, but unfortunately it's just not best suited to their needs, as many of the people who stay within this project are able to move into hostel accommodation quite quickly, but for most of the migrants that we work with, this just isn't an option. We're currently running a pilot project where we're housing migrants who've previously been homeless. They're living within a property in a local community and receiving support from Hope Housing and from volunteers from a local church. The vision of this project is that migrants will come and live within this house for a short period of time to get them off the streets and receive help to find employment. Our first two tenants in this property are Valdemar and Jarek, who we've worked with over the last year in different capacities.
Chcesz kawę?
Nie.
No dobrze.
Ja nie chcę to. BBC is down.
Since filming Valdemar and Jarek, we're really excited that they both found employment and both start a new job on exactly the same day, doing different things. But it's really great that on the third month to the day since they moved in the property, they're entering into employment, and we're really excited about the future for them.
My experience of people coming to the UK is that they do not come here to get benefits, they come here for work. They're very motivated to work, and this is what they want to do.
But I know inside I'm not homeless, very soon I will be okay.
The opportunities here are so much greater from where they have come from, and this is a hope they cling on to, that once they get a job that they will do well and have a good hope and a good future.
As we spent time with the guys, we discovered that they've all got similar stories. They've come to the UK to find work and are so determined to hang on to that dream that they've endured exploitation and living in awful conditions. Without continued help, they won't be able to escape this. And as far as Hope Housing is concerned, while ever there are people sleeping on the streets and in squats in Bradford, then our work is not done. And what would be your hopes for the future of some of the people that you're working with?
That they're off the streets and working and just living normal, happy lives.
Znaczy, no, bracia Franciszkanie wyciągnęli do mnie rękę, po prostu mi pomogli. Pomagają mi zmienić, wyjść z tego, z alkoholizmu, z tej bezdomności, tak? Z tej bezdomności, no, żebym wrócił na normalną drogę, no.
Now I'm take English lessons, yeah, and now I want to finish my course, and I'm waiting now for my passport, because when I used drugs I lost everything, and now I'm waiting for my passport, and after I try to find a job, yeah, and I think very soon I will be okay. Yeah.
Śpię, dadzą mi zjeść, pracuję. Bardzo im za to dziękuję, że są w stanie mi pomóc. Myślę, że tak będzie, że mi pomogą.
Jak zostałem po prostu bez środków do życia i bez domu, no to właśnie pomogli mi ludzie z Hope Housing.
That's right. Thank you, bye.